Generations Bank has been serving the financial needs of the Finger Lakes region since 1870. Generations combines the best of modern banking with dedication to the local community. Visit them at mygenbank.com. Generations Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Welcome to FLX Weekly here on Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. I'm Jim Seneca inside the FingerLakes1.com studios here in Seneca Falls. And today I'll be joined by Rick Newman. He's been here before, of course. He's a community event coordinator at Generations Bank. Angel Landis is here. She's the community outreach coordinator at Seneca Housing and the new program manager for Seneca Habitat. So we're going to talk a little housing. We're going to talk about what's going on with Habitat. So stick with us over the next 25 minutes or so. But first, this episode of FLX Weekly is brought to you by Cicino's. Visit Cicino's Pizzeria and Restaurant at their original Waterloo location or all-new renovated location in Geneva. Dine in, take out, delivery, catering, and banquets. Order online at cicinos.com. That's CICCINOS.com. Live, laugh, and eat well. It's the Italian way. And also, Auburn Auto Group. When it comes to selection and service after the sale, Auburn Auto Group has been the premier destination of new and used car buyers for close to 40 years. Among the brands offered on Route 5 in Auburn include Chevrolet, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Honda, Toyota, and Subaru. Thanks to their wide range of makes and models, you're sure to find your new or used car at Auburn Auto Group. And again, online at auburnautogroup.com. So thanks for joining us, guys. Got Rick and Angel here. And first of all, it's an annual event. It's the biggest fundraiser for the Seneca Habitat for Humanity. Raise the Roof coming up on March 9th. How's the planning going for that?
Planning is going as well as it could. At the time that we're at right now, it's coming up on Saturday, March 9th, so it's certainly close. This, like you just said, this event is a large fundraiser for the local Habitat organization here that helps out with a lot of different builds and other initiatives that Habitat puts on throughout the year. What you can expect from this event, it's basically it's a fundraising dinner. It's very heavy hors d'oeuvres at the Gould Hotel. Chef Roy does an incredible job putting out a large spread of a variety of different appetizers. You'll have live music by Karen Clark. She'll be up there playing some music for us during the evening. There's also local wines, cash bar, raffle prizes, 50/50s. Again, all of these things to try to help raise some extra funds. We'll talk about some of the projects that these fundraising events have helped and continue to help in the future. Tickets are $75 in advance and $80 at the door. And again, it's Saturday, March 9th from 5 to 7 at the Gould Hotel right here in Seneca Falls.
And how are ticket sales going, Angel?
Pretty good so far, I think. We have roughly between 65 and 75, depending on who has sold them in their envelopes.
Who you talk to.
And so it's going well. Our goal is at least 150, so maybe halfway there. So it'd be nice to sell the rest of them and be able to pack out the Gould Hotel.
How can people get tickets if they're...
They can get them online at habitat.org. They can also, there's a link on the Facebook page for Habitat.
SenecaHabitat.org?
Seneca.org.
HabitatSeneca.org. HabitatSeneca.org.
And you can walk in and buy tickets at the local Generations Banks as well as Cafe 19 and Seneca Housing.
Okay.
If you see posters around, there's a little QR code that take you right to the Ticket Leap. I think the online format or platform that you can order tickets on. So, last year was a great turnout. We were there. John Lamonta did the music for us, and it was his first time experiencing that. So, when these new individuals come who never really have experienced some of these Habitat events, they're blown away by the support from sponsors, local residents, volunteers who have helped build some of these homes too. So it's great to see the local support that people out there have and continue to have.
Yeah, it's a great event and a great cause, and of course everybody, if you watch the news or talk to anybody locally, housing is the big issue right now, especially up here in our rural communities like Seneca Falls and Waterloo. And Seneca Habitat's been consistently a force for providing housing for individuals who otherwise might not have been able to afford it. And it really, one of the organizations that's made an impact over the past 10, 20 years locally. You can see it. And when you go to an event like this, you support that, you support the programs, but you also get to learn a little bit about it and see how your support is being put into action. And a lot of times with fundraisers and things like that, there's so many of them. So you want to know that what you're supporting is actually your funds are actually being put to use. And I think that if you did go to this event, you would see and be inspired by some of the stories and the work that's been done. And it brings me to a point about anybody that around here knows that Menzo Case, who passed away last year, was like the driving force behind Seneca Habitat for Humanity. It was really a personal passion project for him. He was on site in all the builds, giving sweat equity, and really has changed the lives of a lot of individuals and their families in our community through that work. And so what I think, when, of course, it was a terrible tragedy when he passed away and a huge loss for Seneca Falls, but one of the things that I know gets discussed around the community is, okay, what's going to happen with Seneca Habitat now? So Angel, you're coming on board. Can you speak to that? Like, what's the future direction of Seneca Habitat, now that they've kind of lost their, the guy who for the past 20 years has kind of been driving the ship?
Yes, Melissa Nesbitt is now the director, and then she brought me on board to be the program manager. So we are working together. She explained when I started, or before I started, that we were going to have to learn together as a team, and I think that it's going to be a great opportunity to come alongside of each other and figure everything out. Menzo he was so brilliant. He knew everything, and he knew everybody, and he knew all the ins and outs. And so I've done lots of reading on my little Habitat portal and trying to just gain information each week and be able to hopefully, serve the community and give back just, like Menzo would want us to.
And, there's some misconceptions about Habitat for Humanity in general, I think. People don't get free houses. There's sweat equity involved, and then they buy the house over time through a mortgage. Menzo is always great at dispelling those types of misconceptions, I guess. But what are some of the most common things that people might think about Habitat for Humanity that aren't exactly the case?
Yeah, you touched on a couple of them, right? It's not a free house. For all the builds that happen through Habitat, the families who have been selected for these builds have to put in a certain amount of sweat equity and time and volunteer time to help build their own home, which gives them an instant gratification afterwards to say, I had a hand in doing this for my family and earned it, and it went a long way. I mean, last year we had Trisha Carvalho on here, who she's the owner of a Habitat home.
Great success story for the program.
Absolutely, and she put in a lot of work, and she talks about it all the time. She's actually going to talk a little bit about it at the actual event, the process, her experience, all the people she's worked with. But it's you have a mortgage at the end of everything, and it's just like a regular home. But there's such a lack of these types of housing and somewhat affordable housing. With the cost of goods that it takes to build these homes now is astronomical. So trying to find the best way to keep that cost effective for not only the people in charge of building it, but the families who are going into it afterwards. Menzo alone did over 30 builds, so you can only imagine the amount of time that he's not only putting into it, but a lot of the money that has gone into these projects. That again, these events, this event, the golf tournament later in the year, and some of the other smaller things that that Habitat and in conjunction with Seneca Housing and Generations Bank
and support from the business community.
Absolutely, you'll be able to see the sponsors, throughout the Facebook posts and online, and a lot of these other organizations and businesses support the same message of what we're trying to do.
I think another misconception is like there's a high default rate, like half of these things don't work out, but that's not true either. Overwhelmingly, when a family is selected and the project begins, they end up paying off that mortgage, and that becomes their home.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it really is an amazing program and organization. It's a nationwide organization. I mean, if you
Yes,
go up
it
to
is.
Rochester, I mean, the amount of homes that they've completed projects is astronomical. I mean,
Mhm.
they're just a bigger area than Seneca Falls. So yeah, it's all good, and you can support it directly here by getting your ticket to the Raise the Roof event at the Gould Hotel, Saturday, March 9th, 5 to 7. Yeah, it's coming. I mean, well, we got another week left here in February, and then so it's about 2.5 weeks away. Yeah, heading into spring finally around here, I guess. Give us an update on to the projects that Seneca Habitat is actually doing now, just completed. What's next? Like where are the builds and
Yeah, so we just recently completed one on Taylor Ave in Waterloo, and if anyone is familiar with It's a Wonderful Life celebration, usually when the actors are in town, from the film, we do the bread, wine, and salt
Yep, just like the
ceremony
movie.
at the house. So, the family invites all their other family members and a lot of the other um, community members come and join, and you're able to see that. And Taylor Ave, it's such a unique. It's actually one of Menzo's favorite. He saw it in a magazine or saw it in whatever, and he's like, "This is the next one. This is the build that we're doing," and it's a very unique project. A very nice looking home. And I believe the demolition on Minder Street has just finished. So that will be another location. And, applications are still being received. And kind of the whole process of selecting a family is in motion right now. So, I know Melissa and Angel and the team are, going through that along with the board at the Habitat. So should be a new family announced here soon, which hopefully work gets started in the spring once the ground's not frozen anymore, and we can get someone in there and have another great build.
does a
But
project like that, if you start it in the spring, does it finish by fall? Like how long do these normally take?
I guess it depends on the size of the house, how much time, the financial aspect of it, and when the family can get there also to put in their sweat equity. Because a lot of these families and individuals, they're still working.
Right, yeah, well, yeah.
So trying to find that off time, that spare time to volunteer late nights, early mornings, whatever it may be. That's kind of a thing that goes into the whole timeline of the completion as well.
As well as volunteers, and they can schedule
Right.
volunteers. I met with Harry, who worked very closely with Menzo, and was giving me, going down over everything, trying to learn from him as well.
Yeah.
And he said that once the ground is more firm, because they had to demolish the whole thing and then backfill the basement, and so once he thought it would be a couple months out at least. But then having that different volunteers and having the volunteers that have the right skill set at the right time of the right phase, he said, is important. So that's somewhat I'm going to be helping with, screening the volunteers and getting those lined up, figuring out which group of them, skill set wise, is needed at what particular phase of the build. And then getting organizations like ITT, anyone who comes to the Raise the Roof, they'll see our new presentation board, and we have picture of ITT apparently comes every year, and they bring a work team and are all in there, serving the community. So getting more companies like ITT on board as well, to bring their workers to volunteer and, give back to the community around them.
A lot of times the volunteers are former clients, are former people who've had their home through Habitat, and now they're continuing to pay it forward, I guess, a little bit by working on the future builds, which is cool to see.
And to Angel's point, I mean, volunteers are hard to come by in general.
Yeah.
These events are solely based off volunteer work as well. Soliciting and trying to garner sponsorships and these raffle items to help continue to raise more money. Not only the builds, but everything else that Habitat's involved with. A lot of, if not almost 100% volunteer work. And volunteers are, unfortunately hard to come by. We see it in just regular community events in and of itself. People willing to give up their time for something that they believe in.
And you mentioned It's a Wonderful Life, and we are here in Seneca Falls, and so this fits the narrative of the theme of the movie. And so to see it in real life, and it's not just window dressing, I guess, that this community really does support each other and get behind the people most in need, I suppose. It does fit the theme of that movie for sure. And so it is, I guess, a little extra special when you can actually have people from the cast of the movie at the Build at Taylor Ave in Waterloo when they, get housebreaking, I guess it would be called, where they had performed the same type of thing that you see in the movie at Bailey Park. So definitely pretty awesome. Mention off the top too that housing is the issue now, not only here but it seems like nationwide. Cost of rent, just general affordable housing for young families, but veterans as well. And so as the outreach coordinator for Seneca Housing, that's specifically kind of what you're dealing with, right? Is housing for veterans. So just a little bit about the state of things in that regard.
Yes, Melissa brought me on board to be their outreach coordinator for the Seneca Housing part that is focused on the veteran housing. And for that piece, I'll be helping with the Masquerade fundraiser, and then I'm still learning about the apartments. We currently have a 3-bedroom apartment upstairs that's rented out to a veteran. And then under construction are 2 1-bedroom handicap accessible apartments that are on the south side of our office. And so the construction moves forward with that, and that's primarily what the Masquerade fundraiser, which is Saturday, October 5th. Is that the first Saturday in October this year?
Okay.
And so Melissa's already got that out on Facebook, so save the date for that. That's going to be a super fun event again. And so I'm excited for, again, working alongside of her and joining her team. They've been great so far to come alongside of the rest of the team from Generations. I'm just hoping to continue to be able to learn as much as I can from them as I start this journey.
Those units are nice too. I took a tour of them. It was actually before the Masquerade event. Melissa showed me the ones upstairs and then the new construction for the ones on ground level. They're nice. Very nice looking units for
Is that on Auburn Road?
Yes.
Yeah, right there. Okay.
Yeah.
What was that building formerly? Any idea?
It was a gym at some point.
Yeah, it was a
and
gym.
I'm
It was a
not
laundromat or something, and then a window or
a little bit of
curtain
everything.
store. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's good to see it repurposed for something as important as this now. But yeah, and you mentioned the golf tournament. Is there a date on that yet?
Wednesday, July 21st.
No, 17th.
17th.
Wednesday, July 17th.
I better get that right.
It is a Wednesday.
It is a Wednesday, July 17th.
July 17th, yes. Third Wednesday.
Yeah, Seneca Falls Country Club.
Yep. And I imagine, I don't know if it's a little too early to sign up now, or can you go to the website and?
If you want to put a team in, Jim, right now, we'll get you all situated.
It's going to be $400 for the team.
Yep,
correct?
400 for the team.
Which is a pretty good deal.
And
consider everything.
again, another fundraiser. We're actually, I broke this news to Zach in the office today. We're renaming it the Menzo Case Memorial Golf Tournament for
yeah, that
Habitat
makes
for
a lot of
Humanity.
sense.
So, we had the largest turnout we did last year. I think it was upwards of 20 teams. So we're looking to at least build off of that again this year. And it was a beautiful day last year. So you try to you hope that you can have the same for every golf tournament that you run, but nonetheless we'll
live in Central New York.
we'll
Keep your
have
fingers crossed on the weather. Can't control that.
we'll have a bunch of support for that too. So we're looking forward to that as well.
But it is, July 17th be here before you know it, I guess. I mean, we're sitting up here right now on February 21st. It's actually supposed to be a little warmer coming up here. I'll touch on that in a second when I give you the weekend forecast. But yeah, I mean, it's the way I look at it, when I think of like summer and golf tournaments and mowing the lawn or whatever, this time of year, it almost seems like a dream. Like like it's not real, but it'll be here before you know it. And then there's nothing like, so I like all the seasons here in the Finger Lakes. I do, but once you get about January 15th, I could fast forward right through till about April
Itchy for
1st.
that
I'd be
nice weather.
happy. That's
Cabin
the
fever.
one time of year I don't love around here. It starts to drag on. But last week we got some really nice weather for a day or two, or maybe that was 2 weeks ago where we almost touched 60. If that could happen a couple times a month in February, that'd be great. And I guess we'll get there close. I'll give you the weekend forecast right now. Friday, chance of showers before 1 p.m. and then a chance of snow after 4 p.m. Mostly cloudy with a high near 42. And why we see that chance of snow is because overnight Friday things start to cool down. Low around 17, blustery winds out of the northwest at 18 to 21 miles per hour, gusting up to 31. Then Saturday will be cold. Chance of snow showers before noon, mostly cloudy with a high near 23. And then overnight into Sunday, it warms up again. Partly sunny with a high near 44. Head back to work on Monday, high near 49. And if we can touch 50 here at the end of February, that feels like 80.
I did look ahead to early March, and there were some close to 60-degree days.
Yeah, and that's happening more and
Well,
more.
that's a tease,
Yeah,
you know.
but it happens more and more, I think, now. I mean, I don't know if it's global warming or not. Global warming a bad thing globally, but locally here, I mean, it works out pretty good for us. I mean, we might be the new North Carolina in 10 years
It was
here.
pretty chilly in North Carolina yesterday. My daughter said it was 24 there also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she lives outside of Charlotte.
Yeah, they probably canceled school.
Probably.
But yeah, so hey, you might be wearing, might not need a jacket on March 9th for the Raise the Roof event.
Construction themed attire, so you.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, no, you don't need to dress up fancy. It's construction themed, so wear a flannel shirt, hard hat. Melissa has a couple cute little prizes for the best dress, so she always tries
Oh,
to
wow.
make things fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is fun, and it's right downtown, and it's great to see the Gold Hotel doing well. It's kind of like the anchor of downtown, and so it'll be full of activity on Saturday, March 9th. Once again, it's a Raise the Roof event to support Seneca Habitat for Humanity. Tickets on sale at habitatseneca.org. Gold Hotel, Saturday night, March 9th, 5 to 7. Big fundraiser for an important organization in Seneca Habitat. Heavy hors d'oeuvres, and when I say heavy hors d'oeuvres, I mean heavy. They got you're not going to leave hungry.
No.
List is on Facebook. They have a nice little post, pictures even, that got a little picture tease to get people enticed to come.
Live music by Karen Clark. It would be 50-50 gift basket raffles, and also you'll be able to see firsthand kind of some of the, through the presentations on site there, some of the success stories from Habitat, what's happening with Habitat now. You can learn a little bit more about the organization, and I found,
Volunteer.
and you can sign up to volunteer. What if somebody does want to volunteer? They're out of town that week, but they're watching and they're like, this sounds like a great way to give back. How would someone reach out to say they want to help?
There's a link on the website for volunteering. It's a link that says skills and interest form. So you can print that down, or fill it out, I think, online if you're on a computer. I was having trouble with my phone. But you can, on the computer, you can print it, fill it out and print it out. And then we have hard copies. We'll have hard copies at the event. We'll also have, if people don't want to take the time to fill out the hard copy, I'll have a little postcard there that they can just fill out their contact information and I'll email it to them.
Young people ever get involved in this, like high schoolers, looking for
yes, I
community
spoke-
service hours and stuff like that?
Yep, I spoke with Pastor Vale from the Methodist Church here, I think this one in Seneca Falls, and she said that their youth group usually went and served with Menzo, and they can't run the power tools and stuff, but they can help with landscaping and do stuff like that that doesn't involve using the equipment. So yes, younger people can also get involved.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, there is so much going on in Seneca Falls right now. I mentioned the stuff that Seneca Housing's doing. Talked about the most recent builds in Waterloo, and this one happened in Minders Street. And there's also the news that Seneca Falls, former Seneca Falls Hospital property, is potentially going to be sold and developed into apartments, maybe more a little higher end apartments, but still they're one of the things with housing is you have lifelong Seneca Falls residents that are looking to get out of their lifelong home, but they have no place to go. So this project at the Seneca Falls Hospital could potentially be a place that they could transition to, thus opening up an affordable house for a younger family. So that's great. And I know that Menzo is really passionate about the Bailey Park project, and I know that that's not dead yet. It's still, I mean, it's a really ambitious project to create basically a new neighborhood almost of affordable housing. And it was built on the tenant that residents would share in some responsibilities, and it was a great idea. But that's not dead yet, right?
No, it's definitely been put on hold. I think Melissa's trying to figure out the best way to work with how it was left.
Yeah, well, it's a tough one. I mean, there's a lot of
It's an intricate
contingencies, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a large project, but we're hoping that it comes back to life. You look at the blueprints and the idea behind it, and of course, again, Menzo being the visionary, you look at it and you can pretty much see that. Yeah, that was something that he thought of in his head. But yeah, it's hopefully
Yeah,
gonna
it's a
be
little
good
different.
project.
It's definitely outside the box.
100%.
But he certainly believed in it. I know there's a lot of people that want to keep that dream alive in his memory. And then there's also the project at the old Peter Koch building on Fall Street that's really moving along. So there are good things happening here in regards to housing, but yeah, I need mortgage rates maybe to come down a little bit for
We're hoping that's kind of what we're forecasting from the feds, but yeah, we're hoping.
Yeah, no, everything's cyclical, so just hang tight. But yeah, thanks guys for coming in. Love talking about Seneca Habitat, and once again, Raise the Roof on Saturday, March 9th, 5 to 7. Get your tickets online at habitatseneca.org, or when you see one of these posters, there's a QR code right there. You mentioned Cafe 19 and Generations Bank.
Housing.
Yep, Seneca Housing, you can get your tickets
Both
there.
locations, Cayuga Street and Seneca Falls for Generations Bank, and
Yep.
then on North Road in Waterloo.
All right, well, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Jim.
much
Always a
for having
pleasure.
us.
And thanks everybody for joining us here. If you enjoyed the show, click like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back next Wednesday. It'll be Wine Wednesday. Catherine Chase will be here from the Cayuga Lake Wine Trail. No word from her yet exactly on what we'll be doing, but I imagine it'll involve wine and food. So it'll be a good show for sure. So we'll see you next Wednesday. It'll be the last Wednesday of February and the last day of February, I believe. That'll be February 28th. So we are moving forward into March. So until then, have a great February weekend right here in the Finger Lakes.